live on
Okay.
YouTube. And the
I see
people
it right
who
up there.
were tuned in before missed a good solid like 2 minutes of Bill Belichick dog talk.
Dogs go in the bathroom.
Yeah, you missed it. It was good. Can't recreate it. It won't have
No,
the same feel.
it really would not work quite the same way. I got to tell you, it's not magical. But I've got a mouthful of Triscuits that are out of the way.
What do you got with them Triscuits?
So let me ask you this then: Triscuits. These are my favorite crackers. A lot of people hate the Triscuits. They think it's like chewing on cardboard or something. I love the Triscuit.
Do you like the rosemary, like olive oil and rosemary ones?
No. Oh. Straight up, classic, normal,
boring ones.
Triscuits.
What do you get? Like hummus or something?
No, it's just
just a bowl of dry Triscuits. You better have like a gallon of water right next to you.
I'm not gonna be able to talk for a second, so you guys are gonna have to.
Diet Dr. Pepper. Nice.
I didn't go to Syracuse or the Connecticut School of Broadcasting or any other such schools, but I don't think Triscuits and Diet Dr. Pepper are like the pre-radio snack that they want you having, generally speaking.
Right. Some people go with hot tea or just water.
It's gonna take me over here.
You guys ever have the throat coat tea?
No, never.
Like when you're sick and you need to talk, it's supposed to like coat your throat. It's like roots and stuff. It made me vomit. So that was worse than having a bad voice.
So what was it supposed to do? Like numb your throat, like to get through it, or is it?
I don't know. I'm not a tea guy. I bought it and then I puked. So.
Right. Then
yeah, I feel the same way about like Red Bull. I've had to work some overnights, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try the Red Bull. That'll keep me awake. It didn't. It just made me. It didn't quite as far as you. I didn't throw up, but I was like, ugh.
No, I never even had a Red Bull. Monsters I've had. I've never had a Red Bull though.
I don't think it's worth it.
At this point, what am I missing?
But I'm also a guy that could have a big honking cup of coffee right before bed and go straight to sleep. So I seem immune to the stay awakeness of caffeine.
Well, see, then that's the problem, because if you're doing it just for the taste, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't.
But Hook, you used to doll your ice creams up big time. Your ice creams, iced coffees, big time.
Oh yeah. Well, so obviously I engaged in a little dietary adjustment in my life, which has made my coffees much less interesting, because I used to get every single morning the extra large from Dunkin' Donuts with the swirl, which is the sugared syrup, and cream, and extra sugar. So I had both. And there were times when they would say, you want the swirl and the extra. Yeah, I said, yep, bring it all on. Shockingly.
Okay, how did that fuel you?
I loved it. And I would also, I would match that with a coffee roll, which of course is baked like cinnamon bathed in sugar.
Yeah.
So it came as a galloping shock at 47 or 48 years old when they're like, so you have diabetes? I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know where this comes from. And then the first time I sat down with the doctor to discuss it, they're like, all right, well, let's go through your daily, what you eat in a day. And so I, start off with that, but then go through.
You made it to like 8 a.m. before the doctor was like,
yeah, we have an issue.
So what they said is, this is actually great news. We have so much to work with here. Like, you do. So, I don't get to do that anymore. I still get the XL, but now it's Splenda. But, whatever. I've gotten used to it. And Triscuits, which I'm not going to have another of. So
try almond milk. That's pretty sweet.
It's fine. I have just a tad of cream. I'm getting by with that.
Just a splash.
So you boys both are tasked with covering sports. I'm curious how that, in different ways, but I'm curious how that has been going in a time of no sports.
Yeah, Mike, you're a writer. It's a lot more difficult for you. I just sit in the background while other people talk about it. You know what I mean? So I kind of know what's going on, but how do you find stuff to write about, talk about?
I mean, so it's been, 6 weeks now? Is that right?
Yeah.
So I guess for like the first week, it was like, this is canceled, this is canceled, this is canceled. And then for the next week, it was like, here's how they might come back. That was pretty much that for a week. And then basically it's been the NFL draft, and now I have no idea what comes after this week, because if it weren't for the draft, like the draft has been probably 90% of our coverage for the past 3 weeks.
Right.
So it's basically that, and then Tom Brady. Tom Brady is still like the only internet sure thing. Like if Tom Brady does anything, we've still got that. So thankfully, he's doing dumbass Tampa Bay trademarks and stuff to help fuel the internet.
Is that worse than showing up at a coach's house when you're not supposed to meet with anyone?
What do you mean? Is it worse? Oh no, that was good for us too, because then it got like that was like a whole nother level. And then there was the teams mad at him for going to like illegally meet, and it's just like it's great. It's great too that like that controversy still exists, even though it's not here anymore. It's like, oh, it's
right.
not. No,
it's going to be there we're going to care for a while. People are going to care for a while.
Yeah, it's great. So that's basically been it. I don't know what, like the draft was all out. It was a good week, I guess, traffic wise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you guys will have a good week on the radio for like Monday and Tuesday at least. And then I don't know.
Yeah, especially when they had the big board and they went OFA.
That was a disappointment.
This was the year they extended it because there was so much time. So the guys decided, all right, we'll break it down by position as opposed to just secondary, just linebackers. So they were doing, ins, outs, edges, and stuff like that. So they had a ton of picks, and I'm pretty sure they goose-egged.
Have they goose-egged before, or is this new?
Nah, they've goose-egged before. They goose-egged one year when I forget what year it was, but the Pats only had like 3 picks or something like that. It was a short year on picks.
They had Derek Rivers and Antonio Garcia and that lineman that Bedard always talked about, Connor McDermott. They had 4 picks
Connor McDermott. Year. Yeah, right. So I think that might have been it. But I think they were at least 8 out of 9 years they got somebody.
But the integrity of this year was shot because it wasn't the principal players.
Right. It was done in remotely. Felga was in studio for some of them. Maz did his at home. But yeah, they did. I think it was like 42 people. They usually only have a low number, so to hit at a low number is better than it's terrible going OFA, but.
Did they throw things at a board at home? Is that how they did it? Because they still were throwing things at boards, right?
Felger threw it at his daughter.
Right. Felga had his daughter hold the magazine, and he did it from his house. But then when he came back to the studio, he had me go in and throw. And then Maz had a setup where he was throwing like actual dots.
Okay.
Felga was chucking and had me throwing highlighters. Maz had his board all set up, but what I think Maz did is he, moved the papers around and put it up backwards. So you throw it, it hits some, and then you turn it over to find out who it is. So you didn't have the chance to take aim at anybody particular.
One hiccup in the whole strategy is that I don't think the magazines had anyone from Lenore Ryan University. No. Which the whole thing was shot.
Right. He would have had to flip a few pages back. Forward, sorry.
That was great, Marshall. You asked what is going on for sports. You still I understand the pick probably flops just on the history of second round defensive backs picked by the Patriots, but name another person in sports anywhere that just has the confidence and assuredness to pick a player out of Lenore Ryan University with the 37th pick in the NFL draft. Apply that to any sport. There's no comparable situation where anyone has this sort of, I don't know, job security, cachet, everything to just be that's the guy. I'm going to leave the room and my dog's going to be on TV. Screw you. I'm out of here.
So, I got to admit, I'm no college football guy. There are a large number of people in the draft I've never heard of, right? But I'd done enough of looking at first round and even second round mock drafts that I knew a lot of the names. So I'm not the only one who'd never heard of that guy, am I?
No,
I've never heard of the school.
I was going to say the same thing. I never even heard of the school.
I had to make a graphic when they drafted him, and I put Lenore Ryan. I'm like, nobody's going to know what that means.
What's their mascot?
That's a good question.
What were they, or are they?
I went through their schedule. Are they the Bears? I think they're the Bears.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah.
So I went to their schedule. They played against teams like Newberry. What was it? I'll get in a second. The schedule is the most unbelievable part of the
Where is Lenore Ryan University?
Hickory, North Carolina.
Oh, of course.
Let's see. They beat St. Augustine's 68-7. They beat Virginia Union and Newberry. They destroyed Mars Hill 56-28.
How was their defensive back play in those games?
28 points to Mars Hill isn't great. I'm not going to lie.
No, I don't think it is.
They beat Tusculum, Carson Newman, and Catawba. Good schedule, but I was watching like the film that they play, and it looked like my team's high school tape at like Arlington Catholic. Like it was like,
VHS.
yeah, it was like he's playing. There's a shot from behind the end zone, and the quarterback just kind of heaves a prayer, and he's just like waiting for the pick, just like waiting, waiting, and then he just catches it, and no one's within 15 yards of him. I'm like, what is like? How do you evaluate this?
Right.
So,
But yeah, no, I don't know names, and now you give me schools I've never heard of, so it's even
Catawba.
worse for me. Right.
so I
They all
guess the
sound fake.
question I would have is how far could he have waited to pick that guy? Because we know he traded out of the first round, right? Like shock that happened. Easiest prediction ever to make: the Patriots trade out of the first round. But do we think that this fella that I mean, we're not football, general managers and scouting departments. Theoretically, they must have known about this guy. They had video ready for him, theoretically, didn't they? Or did they in NFL production, did they get a clue like, you better go find some video for this fella?
Well, he was at the Senior Bowl, so he wasn't like a nobody, but it reminds me of like Tavon Wilson and Jordan Richards, where it's like you could have got him later, but apparently you wanted him, and those are not the two names you want on draft day to come up when people talk about you. Like, but that's what it is. I remember when they drafted Tavon Wilson, everyone on the table was like, I had this guy in the 6th, and the same thing with Jordan Richards. Like, I don't know that this guy had a 2nd round draft grade according to one website, but again, go to the job security. These are the guys that punt on 4th and 1. These are the guys that never onside kick. These are the guys that never go for 2. They're like the most conservative group of leaders ever. They're not going to take the Division II guy in the 2nd round. So I think even if he was good enough to be there, he probably would have been available in the 3rd and 4th. But
so no wide receivers, no quarterback, though they've addressed that through the always very successful undrafted free agent pool. Is this? I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, obviously, Billy, you guys will always be able to talk about something, right? That's not a problem. In fact,
they'll find something. They always find something.
In many ways, them not doing those things almost makes for better talk show fodder than if they had done what was predicted. But
yeah, especially if it's Hoyer and Stidham. You know what I mean? It's
well, now they've got. I lost his name, Damar or something like that.
Jamar Smith.
Yeah,
he's the Marshall. He's the reigning Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year.
I don't know why I didn't know that. I mean, are you preparing that much, Michael? So are you preparing a nice a piece on him?
Yeah, he's the next Tom Brady.
Nice.
You know, you got 199 chip on your shoulder. Let's up it. Let's make the chip on the shoulder UDFA, and the rest is history.
I think. I mean, it could be Michael Bishop all over again. Greatest New England quarterback ever. I mean, I think we all agree on that.
The man the guy completed one Hail Mary, and everyone was like, he should be the starter. He should be the starter. It's like, probably not.
Right. One Hail Mary and a little bit of scrambling. It wasn't much to him.
I missed the Michael Bishop era.
How long was it?
Was it just that? It was just before halftime. They didn't want Bledsoe to throw the Hail Mary, so they put Bishop in there. He got it, and then I think that was the era.
Yeah, but no, in fans' eyes, it lasted, I think, a whole year, right? We got to listen to a year of people saying Michael Bishop has to play, Michael Bishop has to play, got to put that guy in. And then the next preseason rolled around, and in my head, Bill Belichick's like, you know what, people? Let's go ahead and see some Michael Bishop. All right, guys, you want this? Let's go ahead and see it. Go get him, Michael. And then that, I think, is where the Michael Bishop era came to a crashing end, is when people actually saw, what he was, what he could do, him play,
could not do.
Yeah, like play. It didn't go so well.
I remember though when Bledsoe got hurt against the Jets in 01, I was expecting Damon Huard to jog in. Like I did not know. I mean, I was a kid. I was in high school, but I wasn't reading the magazines, I guess. But I was like, oh, Damon Huard's going to be the quarterback now. And then Brady jogged out, and I'm like,
who's this guy?
Yeah, why is this happening?
Right, and that's why you wanted Damon Huard, because it was a name. You knew Damon Huard.
Right.
Oh, so sad that Damon Huard was a name. My favorite of the undrafted, well, there are two undrafted free agents that the Patriots signed that I'm particularly interested in. Bill Murray, because, I mean, why wouldn't you? Can you tell me who that is, Michael? I'm testing you now.
10 blocked kicks in college and 4 last year. So, like, I think it's easy to figure out. The Patriots last year were just basically all defense. So they're just like, let's and blocked kicks. What do they have, like 5 blocked kicks? That was like half their offense. So it's like, let's get another kick blocker and just rely on that, I guess. Rely on the unreliable.
And then Dejan Skuda, not Scooter, but Skuda Harris, linebacker. That guy. A sideline to sideline tackling machine, I'm told, out of Arkansas.
Those are the best things. They had one the other day when, who the hell was it? You probably heard the promo at the station. They had Moss's son, the tight end, on the big board, and they're reading the bio on him, and the bio on him said that he has the competitiveness of his father, and that just sent Felger off on a nice little rant. It was pretty good. It's just the write-ups of the best.
Was there a Randy Moss era where he was competitive?
No, he was competitive, and then he checked out.
Yeah, so maybe they're talking about early on. Yeah,
when he gets bored at places.
So, Michael, I assume that you've been primarily working or entirely working from home?
Oh, yeah. They basically since the middle of March, I don't really have a reason to go in. I just work on my computer anyway. I just stopped interacting with people in real life. That's basically the only difference. People don't walk by me anymore and like talk for 3 minutes and then we go about our day. So not a huge change in that regard, but working with a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old running around and screaming and crying and asking for stuff all the time, that's been the adaptation I've had to make, but everyone is.
So as I look at your space, it strikes me as maybe that wasn't a working space before 6 weeks ago.
It wasn't a working space until about 12:55 p.m. this afternoon when you sent the invite, and I said I better find a quiet spot. So the first week I redid my kitchen. I redid the floors, the trim, everything, because it's like I'm the least handy person in the world, but like, what else are we doing? So next up is this room. I'll put new flooring and try to make it like an office, but I threw my back out twice, so it keeps getting in the way of that.
You always had back issues though, huh?
Since high school.
So, right. Yeah. I remember even being over in Brighton, you had like a hernia. Did you get a herniated disc fixed or something like that?
Yeah, I had surgery on that.
Yeah.
So I haven't thrown my back out since like college. So I don't know what happened, but no gym. I can't pump my iron, I guess.
That's right. Nice.
I'm on like I'm on the Ted Johnson plan of exercise. So it's just constant weightlifting. So it's been
always
tough for
lifting
me.
Something.
It's really been tough not having the gym open.
It was Ted Johnson in this spot last week, and we discussed we got a good 3 or 4 minute dissertation on how he's working out during these times.
I'll have to watch it because I'm like joking because I hate lifting weights, but I still do it. Like this body weight crap is awful. Like push-ups and like all this, like I got like ropes, I got jump ropes and ladder. It's the worst exercise in the entire world. I hate it.
I have embraced this time of uncertainty by ceasing working out completely. That's been my approach. My workplace situation is I'm on a 2 weeks in the office, 2 weeks work from home rotation. So I've already done 2 from home and 2, I just wrapped up 2 in the studio. So I'm beginning my work from home portion again, which as I've discussed many times is why I'm here in a room that previously was used only by a dog and some very loud birds in the background. This is basically our animal room. And now I'm a part of it as well. Billy, you get to go in every day.
Yeah, nothing's really changed much for me. It's been good. It's quiet, man. It's scary how quiet it is around there, but they've done really good about keeping people out, keeping people clean. They've plenty of wipes and stuff like that. So it's only me and Jay Stu in the control room. We're more than 6 feet apart. And then it's been just Felger in the studio. Maz has been home and Murray's been home. Middays, everybody's been home, so it's been kind of good. It's been good because I've been able to maintain the sanity of continuing my regular routine, so that's been good. Like I said, it's quiet there. It's scary quiet, but it's we're still there we can get it done.
Yeah, they've done a great job of keeping people home, Billy.
They really
great job of
I walked into that, right? I really walked into that.
It's fine.
It really is, though, on the scary part. We wanted to get out a couple weeks ago. It was it wasn't nice out because it's never nice out anymore, but we went for a little trip to Boston, just like walk around. So we went to BU. My wife went to BU. We walked down Bay State Road and it was like abandoned. So then we went to like the Greenway for a walk in like the aquarium area, and it was like a apocalypse movie. Like no people, cars
Too
parked
quiet.
everywhere. It's spooky.
Right.
Well, I can tell you that my commute, which I generally get to work around 7:30 in the morning, and I would have to leave my house by 5:55. Like, and every 5 minutes later added 15 minutes to my commute, and it would still take me like an hour to get there. Now, to get to work at 7:30, I'm leaving the house 6:45, 6:55. I left one day last week at 7 to get there
Nice.
at 7 to 7:30. So the commute part of it has gone fantastically. And suddenly parking seems to be a lot easier because we park on the street. So all of that has worked out pretty well. Being somebody who doesn't like people to begin with, generally, it's been nice. We have the number of people in the studio has been cut down to like a tenth of what it normally would be. So typically, I don't know, there'd be 20 people in that room, and now it's me and like two other people and tumbleweeds rolling through. So
Yeah.
for somebody, I know many people have made the joke about I was built for social distancing, but I am definitely one of those people. I'm all on board with this. So I have to tell you, Matt McCarthy and I did a little half an hour the day that Grunk was traded here on this, and we tried what I called callers. It didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. But I feel like you two guys are roll with the flow kind of guys. I am willing to give the callers idea another try if you are.
Go
I'm
for
into
it.
All right. So I'm going to do something for a moment. You all talk amongst yourselves.
So, Mike, how are things?
You know what, Billy? I wanted to say I know Fred is like the de facto influencer of the Sports Hub on Instagram, but you posted something about that peanut butter whiskey,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Try.
it got in my head, and it just burrowed in there, and then I was buying beer, and I bought it.
Nice. What did you? I guess it's supposed to be mixed with something. Like people would mix like Chambord and cranberry juice with it, so then it was like a peanut butter and jelly. But
I
I
haven't
just
mixed it.
I just pour it over ice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
I googled like things to make with it, and the first thing was like ice cream sundae with peanut butter and chocolate. So I'm gonna
Nice.
try that.
Yeah, right. Like I said, even over ice, it's because it's not. There is no harshness to it.
70 proof, so or
Right.
30 whatever, 35%. Yeah,
I finished that bottle last night.
it's not bad. It's like the first sip, you're kind of like, and then you're in.
Yeah, you're into it. You're into it. Like I said, I haven't tried it. When I first I was introduced to it. My brother made like the shot, and I tried the shot. I'm like, yeah, right, that's pretty good. But like I said, once I just put it over ice, I'm like, all right, this is how I'll drink this, ice cold. Keep it in the freezer if you have freezer space.
Well,
All right,
I
I've
gotta
sent
try
out
that.
the link for people to call in. We'll see how this goes.
Oh,
gotta
Jesus.
try
Last time when we did it, I think the problem was they thought it was the link to watch, and we actually put one guy on, and he just didn't speak. And then he went away. And I'm like, and I couldn't figure it out at the time. But I think ultimately people were clicking on to watch. And then one guy found himself wildly shocked to suddenly be, in the room with us. So we'll see.
Yeah, no,
if
I'm learning
works.
this stuff too. This is like my first actual like Zoom. Like I remember setting it up for my parents and just connecting and be like, all right, that's how you do it. But like to actually do this, like, so I'm
I
looking at the
never
screen
did a
now
Zoom
immediately.
before this. I'd heard of it, but I had never
Right.
had any reason to do it. Like, I don't know. Oh, what do we have? What do we have? Jeff Thomas.
Jeff
There's some
Thomas.
big news. Breaking news right
Breaking
here on
news
the
here
Weekenders.
on the Weekenders. Jeff Thomas, man with two first names, has got 2 hands, 2 feet, fits in a helmet. That's
sure?
the scouting report.
So
Jeff.
we're really all on Stidham now, right? He's the guy. Is that what we're to believe at this point?
I'm still pushing for Cam.
I mean, Cam Newton's gonna sign somewhere, right?
And there's like the Chargers drafted Herbert 6th. I don't think they're gonna sign Cam Newton. If you go through the teams, maybe Denver isn't as into Drew Lock as they claim they are, but I think they are. Teams that need a quarterback. Miami got their quarterback. I mean, Carolina obviously moved on. There's not a lot. And I look at it and like, I love Cam, but I know he's like the most divisive person ever. Just by like smiling, he pisses off like 17 million people, in his hats and his shirts and stuff. But like
his outfits piss so off.
In terms of ceiling,
all right,
highest.
I've admitted somebody called Mr. Bend Over. I don't think
That
this
seems
is
like a bad
go well.
idea.
Yeah, because he's got a Hitler something going on there.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
Seems like not
Aggressive.
We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
So you're not going to put him on?
Nope, I tried. He didn't go fast enough. Just
Put
like on a real talk show, if you can't get yourself connected in a matter of seconds, you're
hold
out.
it like a pizza.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, the Hitler memed Shrek was concerning as well.
You don't see that too often on a Sunday.
No. And given that his name was Ben Dover, I doubt that was his actual name. So
If that's your
you
real
know
name,
what,
you go like Benjamin.
yeah, I got to say at this point though, we've still done better than the last time we tried this. So,
all right.
I don't know.
What do these mean? What if I do this? I'm just, like I said, I'm learning. I get these 3 dots at the bottom of the screen. I want to see what they do if I go like that. Oh, all right. No, as you were. I'm
All right.
learning.
Well, there we go. See, so we're learning all of this. I mean, again, though, to get back to old Cam Newton, he's going to go somewhere. I refuse to. I mean, Jameis Winston got a job today. Now, maybe the difference is Jameis Winston, or I guess yesterday, but Jameis Winston is probably at this point willing to take a backup seat, and particularly in New Orleans, where, all right, maybe he spends a year there in a backup role, and then obviously the opportunity to start comes up next year. Maybe the problem with Cam Newton is he's not a guy that you're going to sign to be a backup, right? He had success, an MVP, made it to a Super Bowl. You can't say that about Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota or some of these other high draft pick guys who didn't work out. Maybe that's the Cam Newton problem, but I would still argue that this is the spot he can do it.
I think just go ceiling. Like we know Hoyer's ceiling is like here. Even if Stidham is
down. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Even if Stidham is like better than most mid-round quarterbacks from Auburn, what's his ceiling probably isn't NFL MVP. Like we know Cam wasn't there for the past couple of years with the shoulder and the foot, but like we know what his ceiling can be. So there's that element. If he's cheap on like an incentive-laden deal and you can trade Tooney somewhere, although I think that ship might have sailed with the draft happening already, but that's the only way it could work is if you cleared a ton of cap space. But I don't know. And then there's like the side entertainment angle, like as a talk show, you need like a Cam Newton, not a Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be far more interesting. And if you're to believe the tweets, Bill Belichick said the not drafting a quarterback was not by design. So that leads me to believe, if you take it for what it is, that they went in there with the intention of drafting something, doing something at quarterback. Obviously, at that point, it'd probably be more of a backup situation. Ready for another attempt at a caller? This is going to go so well. This is going to be great. Don't you worry. iPhone is joining us now. Wow, iPhone's got a lot of noise.
Und dann lass mich sein. Der Wodka ist freundlich, doch du bist gemein. Gib mir den Wodka, Anushka.
No.
Hello, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, see, that went well. Here's the thing: swearing on YouTube, is that exciting?
I've never heard a swear until that moment.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not on the radio. You can swear all you want. You can say fuck if you want to. You're allowed to.
You didn't really seem like you wanted to say it there, Marshall.
Yeah. Well, I got kids and stuff. They've never heard that word.
They've never.
You have like a whole gaggle of children, right?
I do. They're on the other side of the glass door there. So, and yeah, somewhere over there. I can't even see through the door. It's filthy because the dog jumps on it all the time and like licks it. So
fingerprints, paw prints, everything.
It's
lick marks.
nose prints. Something going on in there. All right. So listen, callers clearly is not a good idea.
We tried.
I'm going to leave that link up there. I'm always willing to give it a try to take the weekenders to the next level. At some point, some normal person will get through and want to participate. But meanwhile, you've got that guy out there.
I don't know how many normal people are out there.
Yeah,
they're watching us, Marshall. How normal can they be?
This is true. 28 people are watching us at the moment. 28 whole people. So that rivals what you do on a weekend, I think.
One is definitely my mom. So say hi to my mom.
Hey, Mama Hurley.
There you go.
One, by the way, is me. So I guess because I've got it streaming over here on this screen.
And then one is bend over, and one is the swear guy. So that's we're chipping away. We'll figure out everyone by the end.
It'll be fantastic. What else you got?
Anybody watching the Bulls thing?
Oh, the Bulls doc. I have not
Chuck.
watched a moment of that.
Yeah.
I think I will get to it at some point. I was talking about this with somebody. I have a very atypical background as a sports fan for somebody who does sports professionally, or at least used to. In that I was not a sports fan, particularly through my youth. Like, so the height of the Bulls, you know, the when the Air Jordans came out and all of that, and I was in high school, I didn't give a lick about it. Didn't care at all. I watched baseball a little bit when I was young, but when the Astros got blown out in '86, that killed my Astros fandom or my baseball fandom. And then I didn't come back to it until I was actually out of college and I got a job covering baseball. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'd better take some time to figure this out. And that's where my fandom grew. So all of that is to say that Michael Jordan doesn't hold quite the same level of fascination, at least in the early days, as I didn't really watch him then. I probably shouldn't reveal all this, but again, between Bend Over and your mom and the Hitler guy, I mean, really, who's ever going to know that I've admitted to not being a sports fan as a kid?
You might like it then, because I realized, like, in the middle of the second one, I'm like, this does not need to be 10 episodes. Like, this does not need to be 10 hours. But then I kind of realized that it's not as much entertainment as it is like a chronicling. Like, it's like the Wikipedia of the Bulls dynasty.
Right.
So it's educational in that respect. Like, it's more educational than it is entertaining, but like there's enough entertaining in there to keep you in.
Right, and the Rodman one's this weekend. I think Rodman's, I don't know if it's the first or the second one tonight, but that should be an interesting one.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, 10 episodes is obnoxious.
The first one sucked. Like, the first one was like, all right, like, get
This
along
is
with
Michael
it.
Jordan.
Yeah, but then they got to the Pippen one, which was interesting. Like, I mean, I was a kid. I was in 97. I was 10, 11 years old. So I wasn't following the day-to-day drama of the front office and everything. So it's
Yeah,
educational.
no, I'm in the same boat. Like, I knew the Bulls were awesome, but I had no idea at the time that Pippen was as underpaid as he was.
You were like me.
Heard the stories later, and then eventually, put it together with this.
Yeah, those were like the Sports Center days. You wake up, you watch the highlights on Sports Center, and you're like, all right, the Bulls won. Jordan had 43 points. Cool.
That was where I talked about that every now and then, about how sick days back in the day were great because you could watch the same Sports Center throughout the day. Like, I would get up, be sick. I'd watch Sports Center until 11 because that would get me to Price is Right. And then I get right back in the Sports Center. And it didn't matter because, like, it was the same one, but you watched it because you got all the highlights. You got everything. Like,
that was
now
the
it's
summer too. Like, I knew every baseball anything because you sit down at 8:15 in the morning, you watch it till 11. You're like,
right. You leave it on.
It was the best. But now
I did used to enjoy. So once I finally obviously got into it, Baseball Tonight was my favorite thing. Loved tuning into Baseball Tonight. I lived for it. And in many ways, I think the internet killed Sports Center, killed things like that because you don't need to wait to learn anything anymore.
But like, I find myself now, back when sports existed, like, I want a highlight show sometimes because like they basically gave up on all of them because like, oh, they get it on their phones now, but it's like on my phone I get like one play, like, oh, that nice dunk. But like sometimes I want to watch like just Baseball Tonight,
how the game developed,
or NHL Tonight, or like Sports Center where they just show the highlights and it never happens anymore. And it's like, I think they've swung too far. I'm sure they did their research, but
I have found myself watching YouTube videos of past athletic accomplishments. Like I was watching, the Dave Roberts stolen base in 2004, which then, as YouTube does, leads you down a rabbit hole of watching one video, longest home runs and this, that, and the other thing. And then I got into basketball and then football. And I'm like, all of this happened 10 or more years ago, but here I am enjoying it for a complete absence of sports, which this was not a season, particularly in baseball, that I was particularly looking forward to. All right, I'm going to try another caller. Here we go.
My God.
This is the last one. Perry is either going to make it or break it for us, except we'll see.
Respectable name.
Perry. I mean, yeah, Perry's a good name. I'm going to like Perry as a name.
No. Looks like we got music.
No, I don't know.
It's going to be bad, Marshall. I'm just going to tell you now. It's going to be bad.
No, let's see it.
Oh, see, I need to make it go away. I can't make it go away.
Looks like we've been hacked now.
Yes. Okay. There you
that
go.
third one was going to be monstrous. I wanted to see where that third one went. I was like, all right,
Uh,
the first two are around the same size. I'm like,
Did
there's got to be something here. And then the third one started, and then it was gone.
Did you exclusively send this link to 13-year-old boys?
Yeah,
Like, is
apparently.
that-
Well, I sent it to my Twitter followers, so one in the same.
It's
Probably.
funny because I see that now, and I think it's super bad when the kid got
Yeah.
caught with the lunchbox full of dick pictures that he drew.
I watched that the other day. Do you know what foods are shaped like that? All of the best
the best
foods.
kinds.
The sporting event that I watched recently, the Kirk Gibson home run in the World Series. I had seen the home run itself 8 million times, but I never had seen the whole at bat. So like I had the game on, I knew it was coming. Like the whole drama of the whole inning leading up to it, and then the at bat was unbelievable. Like he had a little nubber down the first baseline that barely rolled foul. Like it was awesome, and I was like jacked up at 11 o'clock in bed, just like anyone. No?
Nesson's been doing pretty good. They had this past week they had games. It was like a run of like Clemens games. Obviously the 20 strikeout games, 2 hitter here, a 3 hitter here. But it was like so fun to watch because like one, the pace was amazing. And 2, like I missed those pitches where it was like, all right, it's gonna be the 8th inning and I'm still gonna throw it 99 at your letters. Like it was great. They were in I think it was the 9th, might have been the 8th. Ricky Henderson took his time getting to the plate. Got into the box, put 1 foot in, and then stepped out, took like another couple steps out of the box. And the second he got back in there, the first pitch was like right by his head. And like I miss those, like I miss horses, like guys that get out there. And
That was
like,
Thursday night. I was watching that against the Oakland A's in '88, and
Yep.
I was like, I got to watch the draft now, but I want to watch this baseball game from May of 1988. Like, I got to flip from this.
right, because it's been Clemens, so I don't know if like this week coming up if they're going with a different theme, but I think all last week was all Clemens
because they did Ortiz. They did Ortiz before Clemens. They got to do Pedro because like
100%.
99, 2000 Pedro was like the happiest I've ever been as a sports viewer because it was just like, remember, like you get pissed if they got a double play because you're like, there goes another strikeout. Like, what the hell?
That's what like that was the first, like first must see Red Sox thing for me was always a Pedro outing. Like I loved Manny at bats when he got here, and I was always a Nomar guy, but it was when Pedro was pitching, you were in front of the TV right when it started.
So as long as I admit to my faults as a sports monitoring theoretical professional, I will say that every pitch looks the same to me. Like people who sit there and watch a pitcher and they're like, "Oh yeah, curveball, whatever." I'm like, I don't know, they all look the same to me. Pedro was the guy that I could tell the pitches, which to me, I deduced to mean they need to be so wildly good for me to see them at all. Because other than that, unless it's, I mean, obviously a knuckleball doesn't look like a fastball, but the subtler differences between the pitches completely eludes me. Pedro was the guy that I used to be able to see those. And the best one I ever watched, do you remember the old Fenway before they redid the whatever it was called, the 400 Club or 600 Club?
406 Club.
There was that little camera well right below, like right above the net. I actually got in there once and was able to watch a Pedro start from. You had to climb down a ladder to get in there. It was tiny and small and uncomfortable. But in terms of being able to watch Pedro from that angle, it was amazing. One of my that and being able to stand on a roof in a part of Fenway that doesn't exist anymore, when they had before they built whatever I'll call the upper deck or around where it joined the wall. I stood on the roof there for the Fenway Park 1999 Home Run Derby, and watching those McGuire bombs going over that wall over and over again. They ruined all my secret places to watch things in Fenway are now gone, thanks to building up the park and security.
That was like for that year. I'm like Billy. I'm the big steroid era guy, obviously. Like for that 1999 Home Run Derby to be at Fenway is kind of like the best thing of all time. Like you have the peak of the steroid era, just bombs. What did McGuire hit? 13, which at the time was like unheard of.
Right.
But he didn't win it.
Send him out to the pike. No, Griffey won it that year.
Did Griffey win it?
I'm pretty sure Griffey won it that year.
I thought Griffey sucked because right field is so deep.
No, I'm pretty sure Griffey won that year.
McGuire used it all up in the first round and then didn't do anything after that.
I'm trying to think. I think John Jaha might have been in that
one. I was watching one and Richie Sexton was in it. That guy was just like 6'6", like 245, just like mashing.
Right. There was one that was the one I loved was I want to say I think it was 93, and Frank Thomas was in what's the old Pirate Stadium, Three Rivers.
Yep.
Was that their old place? And he was murdering the ball there. That was like the Saucier in Miller Park.
So we have comments on the YouTube channel, which I've completely forgot about for a large chunk of this.
Oh boy.
So you're focused on the calls.
I was focused on getting these great callers in, and I forgot about the comments. Somebody has requested that you play a guitar, Michael.
No, I suck at guitar. I'm a drummer that plays guitar, but my drums aren't together, so I can't play those. So.
All right. Well, so you're really just doing it for the looks to create that very solid background there.
That's literally just where they were, and I put my computer on a Tupperware bin and made this happen in 5 minutes. So it's not to look cool. I could play Hootie and the Blowfish, Let Her Cry. Maybe when we leave, if Billy wants to sing it,
you can play us out.
Yeah.
Like it's Saturday Night Live. Oh, I want to thank this person for being there and this person for being there. You're just strumming away.
Yeah, no, I'm like a 2 out of 10 on guitar. It'd be too embarrassing.
Apparently, basketball coach Rick Barnes is a Lennar Rhine graduate. That's from our conversation quite a long time ago.
You remember Marvin Barnes, Bad News Barnes?
I don't, not even a little bit.
Oh, he was an ABA legend. He came and spoke at my school once, Roger Williams, and I was writing about it for the school paper. They wanted me to write it up. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I went up, I had interviewed him, and then he did his thing, and then I went to go ask him one more question. I was like, oh, hey, one more thing. He was like, yeah, you want an autograph? And he just grabbed my notebook and signed it. I was like, thanks. I did have to ask you something though. That was great.
Billy, who's in the pictures behind you?
Me and my girlfriend.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yeah, so I'm sitting in the nook of our little 1-bedroom. Quick little tour. That's it.
Oh,
nice. Watching the Nutty Professor. Nice.
I like this little look. Somebody is very upset that you have 2 guitars and you can't play, Michael.
I can play, but not good enough to play for people. I understand my limitations.
All right. I mean, Perry is watching. Perry was able to come on here and draw dicks, and you can't.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
That's talent, Marshall. That's talent, and I'm lacking a little bit in the guitar talent. Well, and plus it's one's acoustic, one's electric. It's not like I'm collecting guitars here. They're different instruments.
Is that a drum pad back there behind them?
Above, yeah, it's like an electric drums. It's supposed to replace playing drums, because I don't know if you know this, but your whole family hates you when you play the drums, more so than usual. So I got those as a Christmas gift to kind of be like, hey, maybe play these instead, but it's not the same. The drums are the only thing I'm good at in the world, I think. So it's
I don't know. I think you're a fairly okay writer-ish.
I'll never say that, but I'll say I'm pretty good at drums.
All right. Are you sad that the NFL has not completed their Patriots investigation into the taping of sidelines?
I forgot about it until I saw a tweet during the draft. I'm like, oh yeah, that was supposed to be done before the draft. So so it happened, and then they admitted to it. They admitted exactly what happened 4 months ago. Figure it out. It's so bad, but
it's like the Red Sox thing. The Red Sox took longer than the Astros, and then it was barely a punishment. I don't know how do you explain that one?
That guy got screwed too. I already for TJ
HR McMasters, whatever his name is.
JT Watkins. He's a West Point graduate. He's an Army veteran. That's the guy that they chose to be the whole situation is his job is to advance scout sign sequences. So in meetings before the game, he's they go, outs +1 for when you're and that's his job. And then his other job is to be the replay monitor. So it's he's in a position to see it during the game, just like Billy is and Marshall is and I am. And he's supposed to what? Just gnaw on his fingernails? The whole situation. MLB had a monitor because they knew that this was a possibility, but that monitor also was in charge of the home and the away rooms and other stuff. So it's no one cared. And then it came out in a report and they're what are we going to do? Let's just buzz JT Watkins. With the Astros, they were oh, Beltran bullied these guys to do it, which is ridiculous. These are adult males, pro baseball players. They're not bullied by Beltran, but whatever. And then this time, JT Watkins was the one being JD Martinez, listen to me, cheat. It's ridiculous.
Right, he's the one grabbing him by the shirt. You pay attention to this stuff.
There was a lot of ridiculous because it was the Astros manager, right, who came out and said, I told them to stop, but they wouldn't stop. I mean, I don't know what you wanted me to do. And I'm like, dude, you're the manager. You
Right, he said he
tell them to
destroyed TVs.
stop. I don't know. How about you fire Alex Cora? Maybe that's what you do. Maybe you say, hey, Alex Cora, you work for me. I told you to stop and you didn't stop. Instead, you throw up your hands and go, I don't know what I was supposed to do. I told them.
He broke a couple monitors. He did break a couple monitors, but they didn't listen.
It's
And
also
then
like with the Astros, it was like, oh, Lunau, you didn't have anything to do with it, but you're still You're still banned for a year. Hinch, you had nothing. You were against it, but you're still banned for a year. And then you go to the Red Sox. So like Cora, he didn't.
Parting ways.
No. But the MLB investigation, they were like, oh, Cora didn't deliver the rules very well to his team, but he's nothing. It's fine. It's like neither one of them probably deserve to be banned for a year, but like just figure it out.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It should be the same.
So do you have
There's
any doubt that Alex Cora is going to be the manager of this team in 2021?
None at all.
I mean,
Even removing the interim label.
They didn't. They didn't remove the interim label, did they? Oh, they did?
Yeah, but they didn't
Oh,
extend him. So it's just a year. Have you listened to a Ron Renicky press conference?
I remember Ron Renicky press conferences from when he was with the Brewers. A very exciting man.
Nice.
Yeah, he did
nice
a
fella.
Zoom conference call a week or so ago. Yeah, it was nothing too exciting.
It's boring, which is not like, I mean, it is what it is. He's a nice guy, but like, this is Boston Red Sox. This isn't like Milwaukee. Like you got to be a little bit more.
Put a little
It's more
pep in
of
your step.
it's more of like a TV role than it is a baseball role.
See, but then the problem is you fall into what happened with like John Farrell when he started talking, and then like you're like, oh, this guy's great. He came in, won a championship, and then like the more it weighed on you, you're like, oh, this guy is annoying with the way he talks and the way he labels things and the way he, describes stuff. It's like, oh, get him out of here already.
I think Bobby V should come back because that was like the greatest. We took that was like a comet through the sky of covering the Red Sox. It was like every day something ridiculous was going to happen, and we were just there to be like, all right, here it is.
It was one of the best years too with like the Felger and Mash show because Jay Stu has this just folder filled with Bobby V stuff. There was like there was at least 2 quotes a game that you could probably keep. And with the fact that it only lasted a year, he must have had 300 cuts, like 300 little drops, 300 little things that he said in that short amount of time. Like you said, it was like the shooting star that went through. It was just quick, fleeting.
Well, boys, we've reached the end of our hour. I mean, technically, because it takes a couple minutes to switch over to the next hour of people. I believe Matt McCarthy, Mason Souza, and Mike on the mic, Mike O'Brien, are coming up next after us. I'd like to thank you both for making your debut on the Weekenders.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It was fun. If I'm ever on again, I'll have a much neater backdrop, I think, unless I throw my back out again. Then it's
and make sure your guitars are tuned.
I will reveal the secret that the 2 footballs with the baseball was added while we were waiting for Billy Lanni to show up. So that's how we made it look sportsy. Prior to Billy Lanni showing up, that was just an empty chair.
It's like Adam Schefter with the Wolverines helmet right here. He's like, I'm a sports guy, all right? I love sports and I'm all about sports. So just would a non-sports guy have that?
No. Can you throw the football? Because my brother, who wanted you to play the guitar, wants to know if you can throw the football.
I can, but I have nowhere to throw it really. So
okay.
Sometimes I do quick slants with Tom Curran, and he'll just chuck that ball like all over a TV studio without any care in the world. It's impressive. He's yet to break it.
It's like Zoe.
Yeah.
Like with Zoe will grab a football, and for Zoe, it's like he'll toss it once, and then after that, like first initial toss, everything is just like, all right, get ready.
I made the mistake of playing catch with a Nerf football with Zoe in a studio. You wouldn't think you can put a lot of zip on a Nerf football, but that dude can.
He can still hum it. And he loves throwing to me and Jim because me and Jim are like, I think like can catch it like, you know what I mean? Everybody else goes against the body, but like for some reason, me and Love have the balls to just kind of try to use our hands.
I just wasn't ready. I'm like, and now I won't. I'm like, no. If we're outside, maybe inside a radio studio, no.
I miss the intense paper baseball games with Hardy and Lanni. It would get pretty hot in that studio. Like when Zoe,
we used to have fun back then.
Like Zoe and Beta would be like at Gillette or something, and Hardy would be in studio, and like they'd be on the air, and we would just be playing baseball the whole time. And then they'd be like, Hardy, he's like, yeah, no, I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, leaning over the opposite way of the microphone.
Well, I can tell you as we go here, DFS Mark thought the birds behind me were more exciting than us. So there's another viewer.
Happy for next week.
Big bird guy.
You next. Yeah, there we go. All right, boys. Thank you very much. Let's do it again sometime.
Always a pleasure. I'm gonna
See you,
tap.
boys.
I'm gonna draw. How do I draw on here? I wanna.
All right, you can learn that for next time.
I'm gonna draw. Here we go. See ya.